Blessings, 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 peace, unity, and the power of love. This is Evangelist Pastor Baz Brown. Baz like jazz with a B, Brown like the color with an E. Excuse me, I just had to swallow something there. Um, I just need to come on just briefly. I don't haven't done a YouTube live yet, so technically, I'm not savvy on that yet, but I will be shortly. The idea it's been coming to my mind today. I've got a cure for cancer. I've got a cure for our energy crisis, and I've got a cure for our manufacturing crisis in terms of home manufacturing and our oil independence, um, all in one. And forgive the shaky video. Um, and I can say this and appeal to my politicians because I'm not trying to get the credit. I just want to see the right thing done for the right reasons, and get the job done right. That's what I've always believed. I was quoted in the Miami Herald. I think it was Tom Fiedler, the political editor of Miami Herald in the '90s, had a round table, and I was featured, and I was quoted in that um, edition is saying, in terms of the candidate that I'm looking for, it's not black, white, rich, poor. It's not, well, actually, it's not poor because they don't have any poor candidates, do they? Not yet, anyway. Hopefully, they will be soon. But not black or white, Republican or Democrat. Um, it doesn't matter, um, male or female. It is that I want the right person to do the right thing for the right reasons and get them done right. I mean, right now we have politics where anything goes and corruption, and one hand washes the other, and money and schemes and we're going to block everything Obama does. We're going to block everything Trump does. We're going to block everything that Biden does, and while they're blocked, we're blocked. We the people, who is supposed to be a democratic republic, and we get representative government of the people, for the people, by the people, are literally getting screwed. So actually, this is a twofer. I have two ideas right now, and anyone who wants to run with this political idea and get it done, and anytime we can get unity and consensus, hopefully. If not, we have to throw the bums out. Really, 2022 is coming, and 2024 is coming, and I'd rather see soccer moms and veteran dads and moms and I'd rather see people who are average everyday workaday people rather than the Harvard lawyer or the rich family uh, person getting in there. So here are my four top agenda ideas. Actually, five. I'm going to tell you five top agenda ideas. First, campaign financing reform. Make it taxpayer funded and evenly distributed amongst people who are in the know and who get the votes of the people. Not a two-party system anymore, but a three-party system. Where actually, you want to have Democrats, Republicans, and independents, because the Democrats aren't Democrats anymore and Republicans aren't Republicans anymore. So that's another story. But we'll put that aside. Use that for another video. We'll use that for another video. Here are the ideas I was really having. Ethanol made from corn. High fructose corn syrup is in every food product. It is one of the leading causes of death in our nation. The high consumption of sugar. My wife is dealing with diabetes. I was pre-diabetic and sugar dependent, not dependent, sugar addicted, and all of the ills that come from that poison of sugar, and all the sugars that we actually produce can now be reused for ethanol, and we can get off of fossil fuel, which came from Noah and the flood. And it would be cleaner to get the ethanol, less CO2 emissions, dealing with climate change. We would have energy independence from the OPEC oil Saudi Arabia, which can kill journalists and get away with it just because, which can have proxy wars in Yemen just because, and because of the politics and the powers that be, we have to turn a blind eye and a deaf ear to the suffering of others. So instead of that, ethanol, and therefore the next part, flex fuel vehicles, which are biofuel vehicles, and EV hybrids. Flex fuel, biofuel, EV hybrids. Flex fuel, biofuel, EV hybrids would have ethanol combustion engines connected with the EV hybrid, and it also could possibly have gasoline if you needed it, but I don't think so. A lot a lot of these cars that are on the lots that are old can be recycled, and and we can put people to work building cars here in America, and really change the world. Really change the world. It's not about getting rich, so don't try and this is a public square. This is open source. This is not patented to the point where someone gets and becomes a Jeff Bezos and has exclusivity. This is a commonwealth system of kingdom mentality. It doesn't speak of lack and scarcity. It speaks of abundance and in terms of generosity. That's that one idea. All right, excuse me with my fingers. So that's that one idea. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give the second idea. Instead of actually three, instead of paying people to stay home when unemployment was to actually do supplements to get people to get through the pandemic, we realized we had it in the budget of extra $600 every 2 weeks or so, which shows that that money is in the budget, so it's not going to be coming off. I think I think it's Michael Yang who ran as a Democrat. He talked about, I'm an Asian, so I know the math, talked about the universal basic income, and with that UBI of $1,000, that universal basic income of everybody receiving $1,000 a month, that could supplement and get people out of poverty, as long as the powers that be in industry don't start to do pandemic price gouging again and raise prices because there's more money out in the economy, and the Fed shouldn't have to pump the brakes to slow the heating economy if people didn't jack up the rents. Sometimes, I mean, my rent went up $200 in a year, and yeah, they do some upgrades on this property. I'm one of the lucky ones, not lucky but blessed ones who had upgrades, but not to the point of $200 extra a month, going from $1,200 to $1,400 for a two-bedroom. It makes it hard. It makes it hard. A lot of people that want paycheck away from being evicted or foreclosed on. So we have to find some way to secure housing. We have to find some way to ultimately help people get their needs met, and so we should have an incentive to work. Meaning, if you are going to work, and work a regular job with a certain amount of time and effort. And I'm not just talking about working for somebody, even if it's your own business. If it says UBI, it should be everybody across the board. But really, I feel like it should be an incentive to work, because if it's just everybody across the board, what happened when the stimulus check happened will happen again. Everybody will go and smoke it up and drink it up and party it up and not save and not do a Dave Ramsey. I love you, Dave Ramsey. God bless you. Not do a Dave Ramsey financial management. It's one thing they don't do is give you good financial education in school, which they should. There's one thing they want to keep you ignorant about, that because they want you to be a slave to the lender. The borrower is a slave to the lender, the Bible says in Proverbs. And right now, we're a slave to the Fed, and we're slave to the banking system, and everybody's just trying to get 2%, 2%, 2% more, and they're driving you like slaves. And you need a year of jubilee. I announce a year of jubilee. debt-free, debt cancellation. Um, that's what we should do. We really should do across the board. And the people get a sigh of relief, man, because they're psychologically stressed to the point of snapping. I'll say this and stop. It's I'll leave it at this. I want to learn how to play guitar. That is that is Black Olive. Black Olive, a gift that was given to me, my first guitar. Um, I'm trying to learn praise and worship music through Worship Music Academy. God bless Worship Music Academy. Patronize them when you can. And I'm trying to learn guitar, but I was getting ready to give a friend of mine who's homeless a guitar because he can play. He's a savant in playing. He was playing an 80s alternative cover song that he learned um, by himself. He self-taught, and it sounded just like the song. And so he was so talented, but he's homeless and he's on the street and he's dealing with a lot of psychological issues, especially PTSD and ADD, and he's not getting the psychological help necessary anyway, and physical help necessary. But at the same time, he doesn't want to go to a shelter. He doesn't want to come off the street that way because he has issues with uh, relationships. Excuse me. This is a really bad angle. You're right up my nose and my teeth. I'll tell you a story about my teeth later. Um, anyway, and this person, I brought them a guitar that I had. I had a spare guitar, but I wanted to tune it, so I set my digital tuner to it, and I don't. I haven't really played the guitar. I had the gift for over a year and a half, 2 years, and the ability to have books and a subscription to Worship Music Academy, but I haven't had the time and effort to, or I guess sometimes I've been lazy to learn how to play, but I will. And long story short, I was getting ready to give him this blonde guitar, and I started to tune the strings, but I was ignorant of how to tune the strings. And so I got to, I think, the fourth string, the third or fourth string, and it snapped. It got so tight that it popped, and I popped the string. Now, there are a lot of analogies connected with that. That ignorance of how to use something will often lead to that. There are people who are very well versed in music that would have been able to tune that by ear and known that because of experience. But because I was a novice and because I was ignorant, um, uh, it popped. Well, that's what happens when you go through stress in life. We all start off as kids and we're dealing with stresses and we start to cry and be afraid and be angry. And if you don't have the proper tuning, if you don't have the proper um, teacher and handler, you can snap. And that's what's happened to so many people. That's why our crime rate is so high because the soul is desperately needing to be healed. The heart is desperately needing to be healed. And I want to apologize to um, my criticism and don't want it to be slander of Barack Obama, President Barack Obama, excuse me, because I disagreed with him um, vehemently and fervently when his first order of business was the ACA, or what people call Obamacare, rather than jobs after the um, Great Recession, which really I think was closer to a depression, but I don't know how long it would have had to been to be that. Um, people didn't need jobs. I was wrong. They didn't need jobs. They needed health care. They needed to become whole, spirit, soul, and body. It didn't happen wholly like that, but um, the marketplace has helped me. "Quote unquote" Obamacare has helped me um, personally, and even though it was a favor to Senator Ted Kennedy, I believe it was the right thing to do looking back at it retrospectively. And it should be celebrated and it should be expanded. And the people who tried to block it and not take the money, and shame on you. Too many people suffered because of you playing political politics. Throw the bums out. Anyway, thank you. God bless you with love. Hold on.